I'm Joanne LaFlamme, and I have with me here today Costa. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hi, Joanne. Good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Very good.
What can I do for you today?
Well, I was hoping you could help me back up my Enterprise 32 database. Show me how to do that, maybe?
Sure, we can do that. To back up your Enterprise 32 database, you want to be on the SQL Server or have a remote desktop connection to the SQL Server. And what you'll do is you'll go to the Start menu and go to SQL Server Management Studio. And once that opens up and you connect to the server, you'll then want to click the plus sign next to Databases to find your Enterprise 32 database that you want to back up.
Okay.
You'll need to point to the Enterprise 32 database with your mouse and right-click, and then you'll choose Tasks, and then Backup. When you get to this screen, there may be a backup file name here already. You'll want to click the Remove button, and then click the Add button. Then you'll come up here and point to this ellipsis button and click on that. And here's where you're going to tell SQL Server where you want to put the backup file.
Okay.
It'll default to this backup folder within SQL. You can use that, or you can pick another folder somewhere here on your C drive or any drive that you have on your network. Once you pick your location here, you'll enter the file name. Now I'm going to call my backup Enterprise 32 and then today's date. So I'm going to type that in, and I'm going to add the .bak extension because that doesn't happen automatically. And it makes it a little bit easier to restore.
Okay. Okay.
Then you'll click on the OK button, and you'll click on OK again. You'll next want to go to the Options tab up here on the left and click on Options. And you want to make sure that you check this button, or this radio button, that says Override all existing backup sets. That's important so that you get a complete backup.
I see.
And then you'll click the OK button. Now, it may take a few minutes to back up, and that's dependent upon the size of the database. Ours isn't too large, so we're already done.
Okay.
Okay.
That was great. Now, what if Enterprise asks me to, provide them a copy? How would I upload it to their FTP site?
Okay, well, I'm going to click OK here to get out of here, and I'll just minimize this for now. Once the file's backed up, you'll want to go into Windows Explorer and find that file on your network. So I'm going to click on my C drive. I'm going to click on Program Files, click on Microsoft SQL Server, and I'm going to click on this folder because I know it's under here, and then under SQL Server, and then under Backup. Now here's the file that I just backed up. And before you send it to Enterprise, it's important that you compress the file. To do that, you would right-click on it, choose Send To, and then Compressed Folder. And that will compress the file. That may take a few minutes as well, depending on how big the file is. And as long as once that file is compressed, you can look at the size of it over here, and as long as it's less than 2 gigabytes, you'll be able to upload that to the FTP site.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Now, what if I want to use that backup to create an archive database?
Okay, we can do that. I'm going to close here, and I'm going to go back into SQL Server Management Studio. Now, to restore this database for archive purposes, you would come up, point to the word Databases here, and right-click and choose Restore Database. The first thing you have to do is give your new database a name. So if this is for archive purposes, I might type in Enterprise 32 and then Archive. If it were for a test database, you could use the word test. You could also put a year range or a date range in here if you wanted to keep track of the dates that are in this database. I'm just going to call it Archive. Next, I would go to the From Device radio button and click on that. I'll need to click on this ellipse button here to find my backup that I want to restore, and click on the Add button. Here's the backup that I just did, so I'm going to highlight that, and it will fill in the file name at the bottom here. Now, one little trick is if I want to put the files that get restored in the same location as the backup, I can highlight this path here and copy it. So I'm going to hit Control-C, and that will copy that path, and I'm going to use that later. So now I'm going to hit OK, and OK again. And now I'm going to tell SQL that this is the file I'm restoring, so I'm going to check it here. And then I have to, again, go over to the Options tab. Here's where I'm going to tell it the path of where I want to restore all the files. you'll see here that it's listing the different files that it's going to restore. So I'm going to go into this area here, highlight the path that's there, everywhere up to the database name, the file name, and I'm going to paste the path. Now you should note what the file name is here. The MDF file here is your main data file. When you come here and highlight the path and copy over it here, you'll see that sometimes the image file will be named the same. You can't have two of the files named the same. So I'm going to come over here and actually change the file name and put in, it can be at whatever you want. I'm going to put in a dash and then the word images.
Okay.
Okay. And now we'll go to the next file. Again, I'm going to highlight the path, paste it, and this one I'll call images 2 because it's also an images file. And then we'll go to the last file here, highlight the path again, paste it in, check the name of the file, and this is the log file, and that has its own name, so that's fine. Once you have all the paths in there correctly, you will click OK, and it will restore the database for you. And again, how long it takes is dependent on how large the database is, so it might take a little bit longer for you than it did for us, as this is a fairly small database.
Okay, I understand. That's very helpful.
Once this is restored, to be able to access that file in Enterprise, I'm going to open up Enterprise, log in, you click on the Utilities menu, choose Multi-Company. Now I can use this multi-company feature for a test database or for an archive database, but if I actually have another company, you would need special licensing.
Okay.
So you're going to click on the Add button and enter the database name exactly as you named it when you restored it. So I have it Enterprise 32 Archive. I'm going to click OK and then click on the Close button. Now when I go up to File, I can log off and I can choose the Enterprise 32 Archive database and click OK, and I will log into that database.
Okay.
One more feature or tip, if you will, you can go into File Maintenance, go to File, choose Company Information, and then Company Information again, and change the name of your company to whatever the name is with a archive or test after it. That way, when you log into that database, you can easily tell that you're in the archive database and you won't forget which one you're in.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now when I log off and I log back in, it now says the company name dash archive or test or whatever you've called it at the
Okay,
top.
very good.
Do you have any additional questions?
You know, I don't think I do. I think that was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And thank you for joining us for another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. Please look forward for more to come.